All right, so technically we should be live. It seems like my video is down at the moment. Let me see if I can turn that back on.
Yeah, you can see
Okay.
it.
Okay, yeah, we're back on. Okay,
Cool.
cool.
Here we are. Here we go.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for another Sunday with Chris and Chrislejohnyc NYC. Only one N. And
hmm
it's your boy DJ L7. So we're going to catch up with, Chrislejohn has been once again this week, right? Going to several events a day as per usual. Covering a lot of events that a lot of other people don't. And, I have done a couple things this week too, so we'll talk about it. So, Chris, man, what's the deal? Oh, just before, for new viewers, right, Chrislejohnyc NYC, you could look him up on Facebook. That's probably the best place to catch all his links. CHRISLEONYC. And also he's on Twitter and all those other things.
hmm
So, Chris, man, what you got to talk about this week?
Thank you for first of all, thanks for having me on another third week. This is third week, three times great charm. I hope it's a great show today. Last week, I mean, it was kind of long, one topic, so we try to keep it a little short. I promise myself to keep it short, the topic, keep the people interested. So, thanks for having you on. By the way, how was last week at the before we get into this? How was last week at the church? How you
What,
felt last week? I know I was busy. I was working. I was working for the person that held the event. She's a great person. You get to know her more. But how was it at the church? How you felt?
which church?
The church at the Covenant on 42nd Street. You was there. Fashion show, the award show.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah, we went there
Yeah,
together, right? Yeah, that was pretty cool,
yeah.
man. I
That
appreciated
was
that.
great. It was great, right? It was great. I mean, I was planning on coming down. I was like, what I was going to do was going to go there, help out a bit, and then travel to downtown Lower Manhattan to see you. But I mean, Dion was down there. I didn't even know. By the time he told me, oh, it was over, y'all coming back up. I was like, ah, man. But I mean, thanks for coming up. I appreciate it. I mean, I was really hoping to come down and support you and Al and Allie and the rest of the crew down there
Yeah, yeah.
in
I might
Prospect
actually
City.
let me see if I could find some I still haven't put the video out, but I think I still have some pictures on my drive over here. I'm gonna share that with the audience right quick of some
hmm
pictures that I took. And of course, you guys go to Chris Lejohn NYC and check out his Twitter and Facebook. He made some videos of the event, and that's also cool. Actually, you know what? I'll just show that actually. Yeah. So let me actually go to Chris Lejohn's page over here and show you
hmm
some of the footage. And this guy's always doing events like this, so it's definitely worth checking out. So about that event, right? I saw that it was somehow affiliated with the United Nations.
Yeah. So the United Nations, it's a global thing. It's an international thing. They do international affairs. I mean, I'm not a big fan of international affairs, but it's great to get involved with that type of stuff. It's great to be more engaged, like civically engaged with international affairs, because you get to meet a lot of people. You get to meet people from all around the world. Get to network. It's great for networking. It's great for learning things from
Yeah,
the
I saw
people
they were very
in the world.
politically connected. Actually, I'm on your Facebook
They
page right now. I'm
hmm
scrolling down. I'm going past all these posts about karaoke and game night at the People's Forum, so all the audience can see really how much work you really do.
Thank you,
Just
bro.
to
Yeah, I
get to
appreciate
like
it.
the other stuff that you did earlier this week, right? We have to
Yeah,
page through all the different other things that you did, which is a lot.
yeah. Those
So
people.
definitely,
Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
John
Of
is
course.
definitely worth checking out. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, they are politically connected. They are, especially the one that held the event. She's really politically connected. She's a great person. Um, so her name Monica Sanchez. She's great. I met her at an event at the church, not the church. No, it wasn't church. It was like a prayer breakfast. That's kind of a funny story how I met her. I mean, but if I didn't know it was, if I didn't do my thing, I would never met her in the first place. I think God works in a great way. Sometimes it's like, okay, we go. Sometimes it's good to be early. It's great to be early to things, so you get to know what's going on. Or sometimes you might be able to stumble onto the things that you like. Well, okay, whatever. That's how I met her. I mean, I went to an event. It was supposed to cover some event with Life Camp about some. It was some election in Queensboro president and a few other elected officials in that area. I think was it St. Albans. So basically, like the Meeks crew, and then of course, the street from it, it's like a center. It was like a center. So I saw all the politicians going to the center. I think I saw Sandra Unk. That's how I always remember. I think it was Linda Lee. That's how I always remember. Like people gonna say, well, like what if
Oh,
I met
let me just
Monica?
pause you for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned Linda Lee. I'm actually still going through your page. There's so many things that happened, like the Iranian women's protest, the Asian Wave
Mm-hmm.
Alliance stuff. there's so many things that you've done since that actual event, just which happened this week, that I'm still paging down looking for it. I saw Linda Lee at another one of the events that you actually did this week, so I'm still trying to catch up back to the church stuff, which there's so much stuff on your page here that I'm still trying to get to that.
Yeah.
There's also this rally at Madison Square Garden for Invest in Our New York. Was that before or after our event?
That was, way after.
That was way after.
That was in the morning time. I still gotta upload some photos on that.
Charter schools. Wow, there's so much stuff that you've done since then. So, but just to go back to that event, I'm still looking. Look, I'll just try to share my stuff just because there's just so much stuff you have here.
Oh yeah. Just keep on going down. Thank God.
I will. Okay, no problem. We should be almost there. We should be almost there.
Let's scrap it up. But she's a great person. It's politically connected. I'm not trying to go too long. Cause we'd be all day.
No, she was very politically connected. She actually had like a presidential award. I think there was something signed by Joe Biden. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she knows a lot of people. She knows Danny Glover personally. So I think Dion will tell you the same thing. Shout out Dion Powell. I know he's watching. Shout out Dion Powell. But yeah, she's politically connected. She's well politically connected. She knows a lot of politicians. So
I was very impressed with her.
You see how great is Dion invites you out, right? I mean, I know a lot of people would have said, I'm not going up there. But you went up there, and you saw that, right?
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. Yeah, but that was a great event. The fashion show, you had the awards, you had the book launch. There's a lot of things happening in 4 hours. You know what I mean? But that was a beautiful event.
There's so much stuff you have, like the Stop Jewish Hate, the defense and police officers' wives. I'm still trying to get to it. Like that was just this week. That's why I'm here with Chrislejohnyc, because Chrislejohnyc is a tireless. He goes to all these things. He knows who's there, who's not there. Chrislejohnyc is a very high value person to know.
Thank you.
Because if you want to know what's actually going on, you got to talk to people that are actually there.
Yeah, not the people that watch our live stream. I'm not a big fan of the live stream, like the influencer stuff. Like influencers, I hate them. Like I don't like them because they just take things and doctor it, and they will make a bad spin and they'll get people in trouble. I mean, I put a few people in a place like that, but that's me to be honest with you. I don't like influencers. I like people that's really on the street covering the stuff.
I finally found the Church of the Covenant post. Oh my God! After all this scrolling, I'm finally there. I'm finally there. Oh my God! I finally reached it. All right.
So you want to run first? So Dion got his award. I think the latest one, Dion got his award.
Yeah, this is Dion right here. I'm filming on the screen. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm going back.
He got his award. Funny thing is, I'm not gonna talk about the rest. What happened with that? But it was great. He got his award. Thank God covered because the phone got cut off. I think it's like the thing got so hot it just stopped like working, whatever. But at least he got the video for 40 minutes. It was really 43 minutes, but it was 40 minutes. So, but Dion got his award, which is great for him speaking. It was a beautiful thing. Congrats to Dion Powell for getting his award. I wish he got the volunteer presidential award. All the volunteer work he does, he should got his award too. But things happen for another day. You know what I mean? I think you gotta wait. God put things in a certain way to get that. So that
cool,
was that. The fashion show. I think like the fashion show, right? It was a good fashion show. I mean.
And the event was really for African stuff. Am I correct?
It was for everybody. Yeah, technically, I mean, it's for It mainly is going to promote Africa, but it's technically for everybody. All the world was there. Yeah, people from China. Yeah, people from India. People from everywhere that was there.
So actually, I believe Dion's actually Dominican, though. Am I correct?
I think Dion's Garfunia.
Oh, what's that?
If Dion's watching right now, he'll probably jump in the live chat or.
Yeah, Dion should come on. Yeah, we should invite him on the show eventually. Yeah.
Garfuna, he's from Garfuna. So
let me see if he's watching. Yeah.
Yeah, but he probably. I don't know. I'm not here to I think he's Garfunian. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but he's that. So shout out Dion Powell, by the way. He watching. I know that.
Okay.
So let's go forward from the show. That.
I don't see actually him in the chat, but
Yeah, he probably. But I think he's petitioner. I think parade is now. I think he's probably at the parade.
So maybe it's because he's part of the African diaspora that he's actually.
Yeah, he's well connected.
Because I have my own, I have my own relationship with the Asian community, right? And then I'm actually with you at the Asian American Federation and stuff. I see you covering some of their stuff.
Oh, speaking of.
And I wish that I had a better relationship with the organizations out here, but a lot of them don't respond to my emails. I'm actually finding out their events through you, right, which I appreciate,
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of Asian American Association, did you hear about the visual, not the visual, the rally they had about that lady who got attacked in Corona? Did you hear about that?
Not really.
The Lai family? Nah, that was a photo op. What happened was the Lais got harassed. They got attacked by some Hispanics, um, and they got arrested. And then just recently, I think it was on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening in the rain. They had a rally. The Asian Americans Federation had a rally saying that stop Asian hate, blah blah blah. But to be honest with you, when you have the Queensboro president, who I can tell you right now, he's just no good. I don't know. We don't know why he got his job because of real estate. And then you have Senator Janaris, who is a clown. Both being there at the same time, um, it just dilutes and makes your whole point of stopping hate disingenuous. Now you feel bad for the family because the family want justice, but they being led astray by some inept elected officials, just as Donovan Richards, the Queensboro president, and Michael Janaris, the state senator of Astoria. He's not even the state senator for that district. He's a state senator for Astoria and Long Island City. The state senator for that district is Jessica Ramos, but I think she was in Albany, so she wasn't able to go out there. So they probably brought in Janaris to take Senator Janaris to be speaking in the district. But the whole thing was straight disingenuous at all. Straight disingenuous. I didn't like it. I don't know how you feel the Asian American Federation. Um, I think it was nothing but a nonprofit trying to get some more money from the coffers of the taxpayers. Just
You
put
know.
another rally in place to get some more taxpayer money. The Asian American Federation is a nonprofit. They're based in New York City. They do a lot of political work. So I tell a lot of people for the past few podcasts or anywhere, I'll tell you that a lot of these nonprofits are political. Uh, if you don't get all that money from the government, especially from the elected officials, if you're not political. Now, political means electioneering. These nonprofits help these people get elected and reelected to office.
Yeah.
In return of getting these elected officials reelected or elected, or
You're,
these candidates that
you're so right. And the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of people who I meet who get involved with third party politics or other types of things like that, where they get all, worked up about, like, oh, it's a 527, oh, it's a 501c4, oh, it's a 501c3, this is what they're supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. In reality, you're absolutely right. When their funding is really determined by the government administration that's in place, right? Even
yeah,
though these not-for-profits are not supposed to do electioneering, stuff like that, right? How can they not? Their whole funding is predicated on the relationship with elected officials. They have to do it. There's no other
yeah.
choice.
hmm
Yeah. So
So we don't know
you're
that they
exactly
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, like in return they get paid. They get paid by our money, usually discretionary funding. Capital funding is kind of controversial. Capital funding is too risky. It's just like a variable. It's like a variable insurance policy. It's real risky. If the capital funding that's usually for like buying property and repairing property, etc., they'll give to a nonprofit, but it's kind of controversial. Usually they'll go to schools.
You
So the
know,
most safe part,
another thing I just want to, I'm sorry, just one more thing I just want to notice about the Asian American community is, I think like about a year or two ago, they actually passed some kind of rule saying that there was like $20 million set aside for Asian American groups, right? That was some new fund.
hmm
I never really saw the money. I think a lot of money, like, where is that money going? I want to know, right? Some of
oh
those
yeah,
events that we've seen, right? Yeah, they're they have a violin guy. I could do, I mean, I do a lot of action work, but they really trying to, like, certain people are louder up, certain people are not. I reach
yeah.
out to them, they're
That's
not getting back to me. Um, Now they're talking about raising the money from 20 million to 60 million.
yeah.
Yeah,
You saw that.
more
You saw
than,
that
yeah,
photo,
more than
right?
60. So where the 20 million go in the first place? Do you feel like $20 million was spent on Asian American interests? And also another thing that when I'm really pushing for mobilization of the community, which would be in both of our interests, me and the Asian American, organizations. And I have many emails that I've been reaching out to these officials that you see at these events, and I have a paper trail of videos, but they don't get back to me at all. They don't want to work with people like me. It seems like.
Oh, I think it's the nonprofits in the way, sort of political organizers in the way. They play that game of like once they find out of who a purpose, they'll try to shut them down. But they'll try to like no certain organizers and nonprofits. They play that game of trying to like blackball people they don't like, spreading rad rumors, spreading false rumors, people they don't like, and say, oh well, don't work with this guy. Oh, this person's scumbag. Da da da. I get that a lot by me, so I know that's about. But organized play that game, and nonprofit CEOs like the records play the game too. They play that same game of trying to what is it? Descend put people they don't like.
Yeah,
So
they
I
form a
think you're
little
probably
aristocracy, and they decide, right? Yeah, you're part of the club, or you're not. You know what I mean?
yeah. So they playing that game. They know what they doing. It's disgusting, and I know they do. They do that shit to me, but I play my own game. They people see me, they know what I do. So that's it's a big thing. Let's get back to the whole money. It doesn't matter. It's $20 million, 60, but they won 60 because they see other communities getting a lot of money, but the Asian community felt left out. Now, I think last week, or I think when you saw I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago when you screenshot my photo and you put it on your page, about, but that was all that is bullshit, right?
So wait a second.
Anytime
Yeah,
the
you
money,
also mentioned Linda Lee. So don't be afraid to throw the names around. What's going
oh
on,
yeah,
man?
yeah, yeah. And then I said
I
it was
want
something
to
about
know.
if I see her, if I see, I would never met Monica. It was something about that. But Linda is Linda. She does her own thing. She does her own thing. She tries to stay out the spotlight, and that's the one thing I like about her. So I really can't really bash her that much because she's not in the spotlight. She's trying to be. She's not like Shahana Hanif or who's the other one people might say is a problem of Tiffany Caban and who like to be all over the camera and get nothing done. So at least Linda Lee's not like that. Linda Lee, Sandra Ung, they're both Korean. They're not like Shahan Hanif and Tiffany Caban. They're not over the spotlight like those two in the ladder. I mean, it's thing about that. So going back to the 20 million, $60 million thing, I'm gonna tell people right now. This is how when they say communities, right? Or we need $20 million to the communities, or we need $60 million to communities. When they say communities, it doesn't mean you. You guys don't get the money. I'm black. There's a lot of money that they pump into the African American community. The people, the regular people that had to wake up and they gotta go do their hygienical stuff and then get on the crawl onto the train or crawl onto the bus or crawl onto the dollar van, $2 van, because I live in area $2 van, so people take that to go to work too. Or anyway they gotta get to work to make a bull crap raise per hour. We will never get that money. We will never touch that money. The regular Joe, you will never touch that money. The people that's going to touch that money are the nonprofits. When they say communities, communities mean nonprofits. So when they say, "Oh, we're going to drive $20 million to Asian communities," that means they're going to drive $20 million to Asian-based nonprofits,
That are
just
gonna
that such
basically
as.
refund, right? Yeah, that are gonna be like the political machine
Mhm.
to really fuel, right, the establishment Asian candidates that are in there now to
Yep.
really put a deathlock on the community so they can own it and they can kind of be the represent. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like Asian community will be like nonprofits just as Asian American Alliance, the Sheik Foundation. They're Asians, right? The Sheik Foundation, the Sheik Federation, ran by
Okay.
Nikki Singh. CPC. I think Ron Kim. I don't know what's up with that. Ron Kim hates CPC, so he will never fund them because
You know,
he,
yeah. I do
uh,
think Tiffany Caban is a high profile person. And I
yeah.
do have some more questions about, right? I know that you're not really supportive. I have mixed feelings about Tiffany.
I actually donated to her campaign. I think the thing with Timothy Bond, I
Oh,
think
you
people
donate
might
to her
think
campaign?
I donated to a lot of her campaign. I think what her is, see, I see her a lot, not a lot, but I see it when I get to see her. She has this tendency of taking things out on people. She has a thing of like showing how she feels to people if she don't like them. Now she is. I think she really want to become DA so bad. Like her dream was to become
Yeah,
the
she ran
queen.
against
Queen.
she ran against Melinda Katz.
Yeah, she almost won by 60 votes. Like if she had that endorsed by my former union Dirk VJ, she'd probably be DA right now. She lost by 60 votes in the
Now, was
primary against
that was
Melinda
that a
Katz.
bitter race or was that kind of like a low profile race?
It was a bitter race. They was trying to get the progressive was trying to get trying to get Tippy Gabbana in,
Okay.
and the mainly the machine was trying to get Katz in. Now you have fewer people was running that race. Mainly, Caban was backed by the Worker Fairing Party, Working Family Party. They were pissed
Yeah,
off.
Melinda Katz is not. I mean, Tiffany Caban is not running for DA again, though. I think she's given that up.
Yeah, I think she did. I think that people don't want her there. She did enough as a city council member to say that she's not going to become district attorney. They will rather vote for Barney the Dinosaur than her.
So look, I'm not saying that Tiffany Caban's perfect, right? Because
no, she's not. She's human being.
There are some things, but like what I do want to actually push back just a little bit on, right? Is earlier you said like that she's does a lot of photo ops but doesn't get things done, and maybe you're right in some cases, but I don't think there would be the strong pushback against her unless she was actually getting something done. You get what I mean? Or maybe she'd taken like certain positions that people don't like.
Yeah.
She's really accused a lot of being pro-criminal, things like that, right? And I think that's really why she's so controversial.
Yeah.
And because she takes that hardline stance toward that, I think that's really is she doing nothing? The thing is that like with the disabilities work that I've done, she's been somewhat helpful. Right, some people just don't return the calls at all. So I appreciate that. And at my times at National Action Network, you were there, right? Yeah. She had a moment, talked to me. She's like, "Oh, my dog, right? Yeah, and I get that. I mean, if you have a dog, you gotta take care of it." So, but she did have a moment to stop. So
yeah, she would have said no.
She hasn't replied to emails. Actually, she has a some petitioning event today. I was thinking about going out to that, right? But I take a lot of what you have to say seriously, and I want to learn more from you because I know you're on the front lines. Go ahead.
I think you should. I mean, I met her, one of her big allies, Ronna Abbott Hammett, yesterday. That was an event when you first came on my page. It was about the karaoke. That's one of her close allies. To be honest with you, the reason I don't really like Tiffany Caban thinks that I'm really against her. I'm not. Like I'm not.
She's
like,
not perfect either, and you know what I mean.
Sometimes
people like that, they want to shill.
I'm breaking this down right now. Like she think I'm against her, right? Because I work with the right wing. I do work with I do cover their events. So, and those same people hate her guts. So she thinks I hate her. I don't hate her at all. I actually wanted her to win the 22nd race in the first time she ran for city council, and I really wanted to win for district attorney. Now, I think she take this thing personally, and she had the right to take it personally. She cares. Like the way I could never take that away from her is that she actually gives a fuck. She cares. She really cares about what she does.
Maybe I'm not so sure about that, but
I'm not. But not like Chrislejohnyc. Hanif is a. I'll break that down later on.
I hope so.
But maybe.
I don't know.
But I think you should go. If you have enough time, we get off. I think you should go over there and help and talk to her because you never know.
Tiffany Caban's people have like Theo's my boy, but Tiffany Caban's people have some kind of beef with Theo that I'm really not sure about what's going on. And they're not talking about it, and it was hard for me to really.
The thing about Theo is SDA. Theo is part of DSA. I think you know that Theo got kicked out of DSA. What happened is because
I still don't know why he got kicked out. He seems like a cool guy.
Because they didn't like what he does. I'll tell you right now. Like DSA, they like the Worker Family Party, but they like the same shit as the Worker Family Party.
Yeah.
Now,
but they have beef. You said right?
Yeah, because Theo is a real socialist. Theo don't care about the photo op. Theo don't care about being standing in the photo op elected official. He's not trying to be a simp. He's not trying to be some groupie, right? He's not that type of guy, and I respect him about that. I do respect Theo because he's not that type of dude. He's not a groupie. He's not a simp.
Right.
He's not going to sell us his district for a photo op. He's not that type of guy. So they didn't like how he did things because he was calling asses out.
That's what he should do.
And the way the DSA, a lot like the DSA and a lot of these nonprofits in New York City does, is they don't want anybody, when we have a grievance, they don't care. They don't want to hear your grievances. They don't want to hear your grievances about, they just say, they don't want to hear. I'm telling you right now, like nonprofits like Meet the Road New York and any of these nonprofits you see all over the cameras, they don't care about your grievances. They don't care about what you have to fucking say, what you have to say. It's all about them and that's it. So when Theo found it out and he was doing his thing, they didn't like it and they were trying to get him out the group. So they kicked him out. And you gotta look at the main ones that kicked him out. I think we saw the video on his page. They worked with Tiffany Caban. They the ones that got Tiffany Caban in city council. They the ones that got her in.
They wanted who in? Who did they want in instead?
What you mean? They got her in city council.
Okay, yeah, but who was running against her?
Oh, it was a lot of people. Yeah, Evie had, but easy. Evie had a hands of Paula's. I don't know. She lived in the district. She now is executive director for Brooklyn Botanical Garden. That was probably done by the machine. Then you had John Caffione. Then you had John Caffione. Well, back he had his own money. He backed by the police unions. He owned some property. And then you had it was a few. I think it was only three. Those three. There's a lot of other people running that race, but mainly the ones that were pushing was Tiffany Caban and Evie, and that was the only one that was really running.
Yeah, I think she'll be hard to beat though, because she's in
Yeah, yeah,
Astoria with that's like kind of like the
yeah.
DSA.
Tiffany,
Could be beat
Tiffany
though,
is
yeah.
hard. Tiffany, no, I don't think she could be beat. She's in the uber liberal district. That district is full of uber liberals, like the little young tech savvy kids who live in affordable
Yeah,
housing
how
with the
many uber
windows.
liberals actually vote? A good number of them do, but a good number of them don't. And if they could
Look at the
really
numbers.
activate the base that's getting gentrified, the base that's
Yeah,
getting kicked out, if they could really, you know, understand what
but
a threat they're under, then maybe they will.
yeah, she's hard to beat. And the reason I really can't go against her that much is people think I can't go against her. Like I'm not really trying. I might say some things that might be negative, but it's not really negative, right? I'll put some things to attention. The only reason I really can't go against her because I respect Rana Abrahamid. I met her. I saw her again yesterday. I covered her event. Um, I mean, I don't want to go against Tiffany because of Rana. I respect Rana enough not to go against
Yo, you know
Tiffany.
what
So
I'm
that's
gonna
the
you know what
thing.
I'm gonna do right now?
Hmm.
I'm going to on my screen. I'm gonna send Tiffany Caban an email and invite her to next week's show. And ask if she wants to. That would be cool if she came on and talked to both of us. Yeah, look,
Yeah,
if she's not afraid to. Yeah, answer some
yeah,
real
Tiffany.
questions.
Yeah, yeah, Tiffany. I mean, she gave you time that day. She gave you time of day. 'Cause a lot of they wouldn't even want to go on the camera unless it's like a mainstream
I
media
know,
type
right?
setting.
They're not really about like yeah, it's kind of like it's disappointing a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that will typically bond. I mean, but I think you should go if you want to. You should go. Doesn't hurt to try. It's free.
So
Want to
look,
pay?
as in terms of any candidates that's on the race, do you think any of them would be, which candidates would be more likely to come on the show? Do you have people that are trying to keep a low profile, like you said, like Linda Lee, people that might be more camera hungry for whatever reason because they're in a race, like Tiffany
I
Caban?
can.
Who else
I
might come
don't
on the
even
show?
know. I think a lot of people is really running. You got to go through the campaign finance, and then you got to see who's really jump on. But I don't even know because some people right now it's petition time. So I think people are busy trying to get people in petition, so
Okay.
they don't want to waste any time. I don't even know who will really jump on your show. That's to be honest with you. Just
What about all those groups that you've been working with throughout the week? Like I saw like the Iranian protest. He had some other things.
oh yeah. The Iranian protest. I that was like a throw. It was like okay. It was like a filler. I'm not a big fan of that international affairs stuff. I don't really follow it. I just saw it on my feed, and I just say, "We go out support this. We go out and cover it," because I was bored in my house and I covered it, and it's getting views. So I really appreciate people that are watching the video. But it's not my niche. People don't please don't ask me about what I feel about what's about the IRA. I just cover it. I'm not the journal. I'm not the follower. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
I really
I
appreciate
have a
I
lot
appreciate
of
what they do.
questions. I don't believe anything that I hear from overseas either. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of international affairs because it's too controversial, and then you create a lot of enemies like that. So
We can't
I
even
try
know
with
what's
this.
going on here. If it wasn't for you, right? Yeah, people wouldn't know
Yeah.
what's actually going on the ground here in New York City. They
Ah,
just hear, like you said before, the sculpted narratives that are put out by a lot of these other
mainstream.
cats that are managing the message and the truth.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a big fan of what's going on here. But that was a great rally. It was great to see. You know, it's certain things I'll just I'll just say take out, but it's like whatever. The Iranian thing was okay. We're going back. Then you had Friday. I think you had made a comment on my page. I'm not going to. Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, and you already feel that way about the Asian thing, the Asian organization that was put in that charter school. You had the right to tell about the Yang thing. You was correct. You had your right to feel that way. You know what I mean, about Yang. But they were trying to press Yang, and because Yang was hard to get out there, so it was like when you was doing that, they got mad. So it happens, man. And then the day before that, the same day prior on that Friday, there was a rally about Investing on New York. That's another organization full of nonprofits by the Work Flame Party trying to push more funding into the communities, aka them nonprofits. It's all it's about. Uh, Thursday, you had the stop aid. You had to stop the anti-Semitism thing. It was that day was crazy for the press because I know there was a lot of fundraisers that day.
Okay.
There was a lot of fundraisers. So, all right,
You
whatever
know,
with
the
that.
fact that you go to so many of these different events, right? Oh,
Hmm.
it's a very powerful tool because the thing is that you are actually accessing, right, a lot of communities that want change. So
Hmm.
I would think that, right, other people that realize this would reach out to you and say, hey, you know what? You have contact with a lot of these different groups. We're trying to make this kind of change happen. For
Yeah.
example, like there's something called you may have heard something called Wolfpack or Move to Amend, right? There's been some things to try to overturn Citizens United.
Hmm.
And people might say, oh, you know what, like maybe by reaching out to a lot of these groups, we could get some, coalition to work on certain things, right? There's now I think the anti-war thing is, wait, I have another question for you. Like the thing is that you see a lot of this stuff. You're out there covering like a lot of these issues, right? But I feel
Yeah.
like the trans thing all of a sudden is becoming an issue. I feel like the message is being manipulated. I feel like someone's saying, "Oh, this trans issue is a big issue right now," and trying to lay down a framework for something happening later on. I feel manipulated. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like I don't know what's really going on with that, but it's just a lot of bad actors that's part of that stuff. And like, this is the thing about being press. I'm more of a centrist press person, right? I try to be fair as possible. If I cover an event, I don't try to put a spin to it.
Yeah.
Um, I see I put it how it should be put. Now, some jackass want to come on my page and spin it. That's not my problem. Don't throw it to me to the world because people spin it. I can't tell them to spin it. If I see some bullshit, I block them. But someone will jump on the page and make a spin. I can't control that, right? Now, but they want the problem with the trans thing. Especially you do a lot of trans based rallies and like abortion based rallies, especially in New York City. Uh, Antifa has a thing of trying to run the whole show. Antifa. Now you have press, certain people press passes, such just as mine, who are affiliated with Antifa, and they really want to run the whole show.
Hey,
They really want to make it like it's their
quick
show.
question. Yeah. So the Antifa people, I'm still getting to know who some of them are, right? I've heard
Hmm.
of this thing called Rise Up New York or Refuse Fascism. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah,
them. They do a lot of events around here. Are they
yeah.
associated with the Antifa people?
Not at all. They hate about Antifa to be exact.
Oh, I
Refuse
didn't know.
fascism
Okay.
is all right.
Because
So let me
Refuse
tell. Let's break
Fascism
this.
sounds like Antifa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. But let me break this down right now because I think people need to really understand what's going on with that organization. Refuse fascism is part of Revolutionary Communist Party, right? Now, the
I didn't
Revolutionary
never knew. I
Communist
never knew.
they're like the same thing. So let's keep on going. I know we try to break it down because we have. I know I have
I
to leave
really
at 12
appreciate this.
o'clock.
I want to know.
All right, so let's break this down. So let's before right, refuse fascism is part of Revolutionary Communist Party, right? So on Twitter they'll call us the Revcoms. That's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the Revcoms. Now they're based in New York City. They're based in Harlem. I think West 120 35th Street, West 26, somewhere in the 120s.
But they're like,
Um,
aren't they a national group? Like I've seen Refuse Fascism.
it's a national group, but their
Yeah.
main headquarters is in New York City, is in a bookstore called Revolutionary Books. They sell a lot of books, they sell a lot of
Oh, I heard of
merchandise,
that
sell a lot
spot.
of
Yeah, that's kind of like a known
that.
spot.
Yeah, it's ran by them. It's ran by Revolutionary Communist Party. Now, the Revolutionary Communist Party has a certain thing. They do an abortion. It's called Rise Up for Abortion Rights. They're like that's one of their main things now because the abortion topic is hot in America, especially New York City. And they always get. I think they have a rally at 1 o'clock today about the at Union Square, at 1 p.m. in Union Square. I might have to go down there right now and see before I go up to 1:30
Don't
at
you have another
59th
thing going
Street.
on at 2 o'clock?
Yeah, might go down, see what's going down at 1 o'clock down there, and then I might just go up because it takes like 3 minutes to get up there at 1:30. So
Yo,
it
I
takes like
can't
15
keep
minutes.
up, man. It's too much,
So
man. Yo, you're a
there's a
beast, bro. I
rally they
gotta give you
have
so much
at
props,
Union
man.
Square at 1 o'clock, hosted
Yeah.
by Rise for Abortion Rights, Revolutionary Communist Party, right? So blah whatever, right? So that's what's up with them. The Revolutionary Communist Party is ran by Bob Avakian. He's still alive. He's still here. He's still here, breathing, stuff like that.
Wait, what's his name again?
Bob Avakian. Bob Avakian.
Bob Avakin. Can you maybe even
Bob.
set up an interview? I'm actually Avakin. I'm gonna get
I
at him.
think it's
Yeah,
Bob Avakian.
I've heard that name before.
Bobaviakin. IAN.
Okay,
Bob Avakian. He runs the Revolutionary Communist Party. He's an author. He's a speaker. He's everything.
cool. Okay,
I met him before. I covered one of his events as
what's he
security
like?
guard. He's good. He's good.
Oh,
He's a
that's
good
cool.
guy.
Yeah. Look,
So
I can't
Bob
blame him. A lot
Avakian.
of times when people get into, not because they're dicks, right? But they get surrounded by a
Mhm.
whole bunch of bullshit, and then they have to
Yeah.
become dicks.
Uh
You know what
huh.
I mean? Just to defend
Yeah.
themselves. So
Yeah. That's like yeah. It's like so. Then it's ran by him and one of his main organizers, one of his main leaders. His name is her name is Sunsara Taylor. So
okay.
she's hated by Antifa. They're hated by Antifa. The reason they're hated by Antifa because they're all over the camera and they work with the establishment. They work with the
Yeah, they
like
do.
they
Like
work with
they're like very anti-Trump, kind of like
yeah. They
closet
do a lot.
pro-Biden type of
Yeah,
thing.
but they know they bought an organization like they're not a nonprofit, but I think they are a nonprofit. But the way that's what make them so successful. Just the work thing part makes them so successful is anytime there's a rally and they know is they can be part of it, they will make sure that they're in the front. They'll make sure that their merch is there. They will make sure they'll make it look like it's their event,
Yeah,
and they'll
that's
make
kind of
sure they
sad to see that happen in the left, but that's
and
definitely
then they'll make
this
sure and then they'll
jacking
make
type of
sure
shit. Yeah.
yeah they'll jack it and then they'll make sure they're at the camera. Now, what happened during the anti-abortion rallies, mainly all over the country, mainly in New York City, because they're basically they did in D.C., they did in New York City. Now, when anytime there was an anti-abortion rally, that like 2022 was a year for anti-abortion, right? It was a hot year. Anytime there was an anti-abortion rally, you get like hundreds of people, right?
Yeah.
Hundreds of people. Abortion and guns. Take the guns away and abort the kids. Um, you had a lot of people every rally,
You know,
every press conference.
I have to say that I also have some type of unsatisfactory. Like I feel like Refuse Fascism, like they do some good work, but I also feel like there's really valid criticisms of some things that they're doing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times they try to use students right to accomplish their
Hmm.
goals, but they don't
Oh
really
yeah,
look out for students. They
they
just
don't
try to
really
exploit them and use them.
they
So
exploit them and use them and get them away. That's how a lot of even nonprofits do the same thing. Nonprofits do the same thing. They get the young kids, they get the students, they get people who are
yeah,
gullible, and they can use them and corrupt them. And it was time to get rid of them. They get rid of them. Me, I work with a lot of nonprofits. I know what I get out of this stuff. That makes me happy, and because I know what I get out of this stuff. But majority of the time, you will be used. Majority of the time, that you will be used for your talent, and you'll be exploited for your talent. Especially if you do media. If you get a lot of views, they'll use you for your views, and then they'll get the fame over it. And then when it's time to get rid of you, they'll get rid of you.
you
They don't
know.
care.
And the fact of the matter is that for a lot of you kids, hopefully, if you're watching, right, notice that people with experience like Christopher Leon Johnson that are committed, people like myself that's been around it, we're we were not really around. You'll see like some kind of controller dude that's controlling things, and then a whole bunch of just young people around you, and you'll be like, "Where's all the old people at?" It's not. We're not here, right? They systematically get rid of us to maintain control over your narrative and your thought process and your
Yep.
labor. Yeah,
Yeah, and they want it for free.
yeah,
Nonprofits got this thing of let's do it for free, and they'll probably offer you some photo ops with elected officials and some pre-invites to the gala. That's the only thing they're gonna try to give you in return. But majority of the time, they're not gonna pay you. They
yeah,
will never pay you. If they pay, it's gonna be like $10. They will pay you a little amount of money out of their own money. It will never be out of the budget
yeah.
because the real money goes to the people that they have to pay off to keep
And worse than
afloat.
the payment, right? The payment itself is like already bad enough, right? They monopolize the resources, but the thing is that the things that you work for, right? You're working because you want to create a more fair society, but really what you're doing is you're reinforcing an aristocracy because they
Hmm.
try to get something done in your organization, try to mobilize, try to run an independent project, right? Good luck with that. They're gonna get rid of
Yeah,
you so fast.
and
Goodbye.
they'll
You
get
know
rid
what
of
I
you,
mean?
and they'll try to blackball you. That's the
Yeah,
thing people understand that, like it's real tough. Like I say, I do my own thing, but I know I have to deal with because I'm already hated by a lot of people within certain people within the family for work fame party. I got my allies, and so I know this stuff. But majority of people that don't understand this, who's not really be hated like me, um, if let's say you have you want to do criminal justice reform, right? And there's like vocal New York, and you want to do your own thing different from vocal New York, and it gets to the position. they're gonna try to shut it down. They will try to the bury it. They will try to kill all the press. They will drive all the elected officials. They'll do a lot. What they do to make your move look bad.
Okay, so
And
quick question, yeah. Now the
mm-hmm,
thing is that I know you're talking about Antifa, and I got you a little bit off on the side. We are talking about refuse fascism, right?
yeah.
Are there members that they share, kind of, or are they very distinct kind of groups?
What you mean?
Uh, the thing is that, right, like I said, refuse fascism. There are some anti-establishment elements within refuse
Mm-hmm.
fascism, right? They are kind of
Yeah.
serving the establishment as well, like we like some of the critics say, some of their interests and goals.
Mm-hmm.
Antifa also is anti-establishment, right?
Yeah.
There is some crossover there, as in terms of stated goals.
Yeah.
Um, do they ever? Now they said they hate each other, but do they ever work in concert together on anything, or are they really like kind of like no?
Go back. Let's go back again. Sorry about that. I mean,
Okay, so you also said right, like there's
yeah.
so we know like certain people at some of these organizations might be jacking events, stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure that nobody really
Mm-hmm.
likes that, right?
Yeah.
But do they ever? It sounds in some ways they have some similarities. Are these groups ever able to work together or on anything, or I
To
don't
be
know?
honest with you, I don't think so. Because they all want money. They all care about the money and the fame. These some of these nonprofits they eat each other alive. It's like dog eat dog type shit. Some of these people, some of these organizations will try to outshine the other one.
Wait, so
Um,
are there any NGOs that are associated with Antifa, and how are they getting their money if they're getting any money?
yeah, you'd be surprised. There's certain NGOs and there's certain like spaces that are affiliated with Antifa. This is why I'm real careful of the elected officials that I try to cross. And I know who I pissed off because there was a certain race that I helped out. I helped their person lose. It was like over 32nd district between Felicia Singh and Joey Areola. I actually cost Felicia Singh her race. I helped the Areola win. I really want Areola to win, but there's certain people I pissed off because of that race. Elected officials that I pissed off because of that race, and I see what they're doing to me. I know what's going on, and I know like yeah, I can't do this because I'm going to piss that elected official off. But there's certain elected officials and there's certain organizations that work with Antifa. Um, it just the thing with problem with Antifa is they're influential on Twitter, they influential on the ground, and they try to tell people like, oh, this person is this person that, and the organizers who don't even know what the hell's going on, they just run with it. They just take it for like gospel. Like say like let's say oh, this guy DJL works with the right wing, they'll fucking take it as gospel. I deal with that shit multiple times by a few people that try to say oh, I'm right. I'm not right wing. I cover, but I'm not right wing. I cover a lot of left wing events too. So, but you get that. Let's say there's a lot of orgs that work with Antifa. They work with them. You know what I mean? Like Jay Frey, Jewish for Economic Justice, some shit like that. Um, NYC for abortion rights. There's a lot of them that work with Antifa. They work hand in hand. So,
Hmm.
hmm
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would
but
say Jay Fred is kind of establishmenty too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So yeah,
but they
they're
work for
different side
Antifa.
of the establishment.
But the thing about Antifa, if them and non, they can get real dangerous because they can get the press they don't approve of a hard time. And that can go bad for people that's actually on the ground. People don't understand this stuff where you gotta be you gotta be watching your back because you don't know who the hell, especially they wearing masks and stuff like that. These days they wear masks, but they've been wearing masks really before the pandemic. You gotta be careful who around because they might try to come out and attack you, and you gotta stand this. The way the cops work is they don't even want to. Let's say like you get attacked, they want witnesses, they want video. If they don't have, even if you you got attacked first, and now we have 80 people say oh you started it, who you think the cops gonna believe? So this we gotta worry about. So you got to think about Antifa, and if you're on the bad side, you gotta worry about because it can go left. And the way the cops are, if they don't take your side.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
we gotta
it's just some mob stuff. You know, what I mean, we got the numbers on the street, so the cops can't stop us because they can't stop 80 people, so they just mobbing
yeah.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, so they don't care. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of bullshit
but
you got to deal with.
you, if they could do anything, you could do anything. You get what I mean?
hmm
So it's a
Yeah.
free for all. So That's
Yeah.
why I'm at the gym, man. Today, man, I don't want it, but you gotta be ready to take care of yourself out there, because nobody taking
Mhm.
care of you. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
it's a real fact. That's important. Anyways, yeah, enough of that. Yeah, let's. Like, I'm a peaceful dude, and I want to take care of things the electoral way, if possible.
Yeah,
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 I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
trying to
But
have a
that's me. I'm
revolution.
not. Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck that. You know what I'm saying? There's no point.
I feel
I'm
you,
not the type
man.
person.
Yeah,
I'm not the type of person to crash events and all that weird shit. That's not me. Wasting my time. I could be
yeah.
doing crash events. I do other things than that. Fuck that. Not me. Too old for that. 31 years old. Too old for that.
So, out of all the events that you went to this week, like, you talked to so many organizations, you know, yeah, like, I would really like to reach out to the people that are, you know, that are in all these different organizations, try to tie them together for some type of, coalitional work.
Yeah. So one of the events I did recently, what was it? Tuesday was, what was it, 7th? That was, okay, that was like an open New York, no, 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 something like that. So with Chris Marte.
Okay.
And then you had something with, that was, okay, I think it was, got canceled, so they did a rally anyway. It was okay. Then they had something with the, charter schools. It was some more like progressive stuff. So yeah, it was like 1,000 people around the area. You had 500 people for the budget, for the budget one. And then you have 500 people for the charter schools. So you have 500, 500, or 1,000 people in that street, 500 people, 1,000 people in that area.
Well, how do you
Um,
feel about charter schools? Because there's that's a
oh,
controversial topic, I guess.
it is a controversial topic. All right, this is all stemmed from the UFC. The way unions are is if they don't get enough members, they can't get more money. They can't justify their $300,000 year salaries or their $250,000 year. These union leaders, like the executive board members, they get paid a lot of money. They get paid about six figures, over six figures. Like I'm talking about, like cracking like over two hundred fifty
Yeah.
thousand dollars a year per each executive, except for the president. President get paid like $300,000 a year just for being a president. They get paid inflated salaries.
Right.
Now they can't justify that salary if they don't have a lot of members, because they feel that the charter schools, in the way the charter schools get expanded, is going to affect their membership. It will affect their membership. It will affect the numbers. It will affect their money, because they don't want to take a pay cut. These union executives, they don't want to take a pay cut. Mainly the UFC, they're like the worst out of it. Um, these 37, they will never have the issue because they deal with the city. It'll be hell the city that happens. Dirt BJ, Hotel Trade Union, Luna, like the carpenters, all these unions, they drive on the money. They drive on the numbers.
Hey,
Without the numbers of
yeah.
members, they don't justify their paychecks.
I do know
So,
UFT has, like, some problems. You know what I mean? Like, this
mm-hmm,
is well known. So the
mm-hmm,
fact of the matter is that is there maybe like a competing union for teachers?
nah,
No.
not at all. It's always like election cycles, but it's always only one union. It's called mainly, yeah, the CSA. That's like supervisors for the teachers, but they deal with the UFT. The UFT runs the show. They
Yeah.
run the CSA. It doesn't matter. They run the show. The UFT is the only thing in town for teachers, and they feel that the charter schools are messing up their money. They're messing up what they got going on. The charter schools have a lot of leeway because they got a lot of money. They pump these elected officials into these lobbyists and consultants, because they know that's the only gonna get their message out there if they help the lobby consultants, because they drag the elected officials out there. Um, it's real controversial because people want it to happen. My niece goes to charter school. She goes to charter school, so, and it's working out for her great. She learns a lot in there. The class size is real small. It's real intimate. So I have no problem with it.
I
And
feel
I'm so,
supportive of charter schools myself, just so you know. I know that's going to
yeah,
be controversial, and yeah, if they're
yeah,
having good results, if the public schools are
yeah, they are.
failing, you can't take these kids and sentence them to to crappy schools if you
Oh,
can't
fuck the
handle it.
public
Yeah.
schools, man. Public schools are trash. I'm a product of the public schools. Public schools don't see shit, and they're
Also there's
horrible.
I don't know if you saw this news story, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
about someone in the Bronx breaking into high schools and stealing $68,000 worth of calculators. Have you seen that story?
Oh, it's a lot of money made on calculators. A
Yo,
calculator can run $100 a pop.
How are these high schools right there supposedly short on money having $68,000 worth of calculators in
Because
the
the
class?
tax is
What is
it's a
this?
scam. It's a scam. A lot of time you can buy that shit for like cheap. You can buy it for like cheap. A calculator, like it's probably scientific science Texas Instruments. That's what
Yeah.
they do. The scientific. I think they still. I
That's
go to
40-year
school.
old technology. That shit should be retired. There's
They
no
will
reason.
never.
It's
I
just
know, but they'll
it's a
never.
hustle.
Yeah, they'll always. I know it's retired, but they will always like make it look like a smartphone. Now the calculators right now look like a smartphone. It has like the smartphone feel. It's not all touchscreen. You got the punch. You have to punch the numbers in and etc. But the smartphones, the one right now, they got the smartphone. It's like a smartphone. You can do like the charts on the calculator. The old days when I was in school, you never had that. You never had the one you could do the what is it? The charting inside the calculator. You had the one like the little small bar and the multiplication, addition, subtraction, subtraction, and addition. But now these ones are all like high tech, like $100 a pop for a calculator. But because it's where the money's at. It's usually, and that's probably for insurance. I think that's probably if somebody stole that, it's probably for insurance, or they probably make a profit.
They
That's
could
all it's
make
about.
honestly they could sell those calculators with since it's such old technology for like $5-10. Those scientific calculators,
Yeah, for
dead
five
ass.
ten
But
dollars a
the thing
pop.
is that they charge like $100 and just raking the money in. It's we do actually
Hmm.
just we all have a couple people in chat. Shout out to 12 Bales. We will
Hmm.
actually be making some content soon. I'm sorry about the national and the local program. I've been a little bit busy. Dust James, big shout out. We have a couple questions about what's happening at 2 p.m. today. So,
Oh yeah, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. There's a rally. If you could come by 1:30 on Lexington Avenue and 60th Street, take the 4 train to 59th Street, Lexington Avenue, 60th Street. There's gonna be a march hosted by the pro congested pricing people, Maine the Rise Alliance, Open Plans, and I think Transalt. They will march to 59th Street and Second Avenue to counter protest the 2 o'clock rally that's for against congested pricing. So it's gonna be interesting today. It's gonna be a real interesting event. Best thing to do to come at 1:30 to 50 60th Street and Lexington Avenue. If you want the action to be a little bit more interested by the action and see what else come from, it's come from 59th, 60th Street and Lexington Avenue. I will be there at 1:30 to cover it. I got to leave my house at 12 o'clock to get there, and I got to do some business, and then I'm going to be there at 1:30 to make sure that nothing really happens, miss anything. Because the trains are messed up. Trains are horrible.
I don't know if other people are actually driving who's watching right now.
Because
But the
that's your
fact of the
prices.
matter is that I just don't I think after COVID and stuff, I just don't see the same levels of traffic like I used to. Maybe I'm wrong about that. How do you
Yeah,
feel about that?
it's not that crazy. And now is the best time to get in congestion pricing because they won't say, well, fuck it, you people ain't driving, might as well charge them money for the charge them money for the charge them money for the to drive in the city. That's all about making money for the reason that's going on because the MTA is trying to make money. The MTA is trying to make money off the people. $23 per way. It's too much money. They
Yeah.
try to make a profit, and the Rive Lines get some out of because they make a profit too. They work with the MTA. They work with the MTA, so they're getting funded by the MTA for helping pushing their policy. And then Transalt, who are big proponents of open streets, if you have less cars, it justifies them to making more open streets. So
The MTA was formerly identified as a shelter, right, for politicians to stash money inside to fuel future runs for office. And they had like
mhm,
2 sets of books, and they were cooking all kinds of crazy stuff. They haven't cleaned up none of that. You know what I mean?
mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a real corrupt organization. It's real corrupt. The
yeah.
MTA is real corrupt. Um,
I think that the
it's real.
Second Avenue subway, right, in the world, we spend more money on the Second Avenue subway per square mile than anywhere in the world. The corruption is just way out of control, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's
They don't
about
need no
money.
more money. They freaking
They
congestion
they always
pricing.
go back for money. It's fucking crazy. They beg money
Yeah.
from the state. They beg money from the cities that they serve in. It's a mess.
Yeah,
It's a
so like
real
the thing
mess.
is that that's wild. You said that there's the people that are protesting congestion pricing. Like I could see that, but you said there's a counter protest happening. That's
It
interesting
started
to
at one
support
thirty.
congestion
So
pricing.
yeah, because they it got. I think they saw on my page, or I think they saw it through my. Or because I think I know who sent that off,
But just from a
but I
political
respect.
angle, I think it's very hard to really get any real support for supporting congestion pricing.
Now, let's be real about that, right? Now, we look at what's going on. The majority party is Democrat. Now, the majority party in New York City they work with the Rise Alliance. They work with the Rise Alliance, so they'll get a lot of support. They will get a lot of support for it. The opposition is not that well. The opposition is not that strong against against the pro congestion price people. Now you
Yeah.
got to look at the pro congestion price people are transportation alternatives, open plans, and Rise Alliance. There
Well,
are
yeah.
three.
I think that the opposition's not there until they put it in. Once they put it in and people
Put it
actually
in.
have to stop at the bridge and take out the money, ooh, I think it's gonna go crazy. I think people are gonna complain like
Yeah,
hell.
but
Yeah.
yeah, by the time it'd be too late because it's like it's already made the law. But by the time they made the law, they're not gonna change it. They're like, well, you people just fucking you over exaggerating. You just gotta make sure they don't get into law. Now, the trans old people know how to organize. They know how to get press. They know how to get everything. The problem with a lot, like I said, people that's like maybe moderate and conservative is they don't know how to organize. They don't know how to get press. Everything is more about the photo op, and they're not ready for. They don't not really how to handle the opposition unless it's on Twitter. Now, there's a big difference of handling things on Twitter to handling things on the street. And what makes the people like the more progressive organization more powerful is they know how to handle the opposition on the street. They don't. They just don't know. They just don't care about Twitter. Twitter ain't shit. Twitter's the internet. You can't. I mean, the internet you can block people.
Yeah, there's a lot
You
of
can't.
bots and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Elon Musk is having problems with that. Even the owner can't deal with all these bots. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. But they got the pro congestion price people got a lot of support. They got a lot of support from the elected officials. They got a lot of elected officials under their thumb. So that what matters more. I mean, the board of presidents, the controller, the public advocate.
Do you see
They got
this
the bully.
being Do you see this being relevant in the election, in the upcoming election?
In mainly certain districts. In certain districts, it'll be a hot topic, mainly on the west side and the east side of Manhattan. Mainly that's in the 12th district. They're mainly going to collude in the 12th district.
You know,
They
I also
made
know that
that.
you've done some stuff with the taxi drivers. You did actually a bunch of stuff with the
Oh,
Uber. Yo, you cover so much stuff. How do they feel about the congestion pricing?
they're for it.
They're for
They're
it?
for it. Oh,
Aren't they
because
going to get hurt by that? They're just
mainly
going to
the
pass it on to
taxi, mainly
their
the tax
customer.
worker alliance. The tax worker alliance is for it because they work with the progressives. They work with the Rise Alliance. They work with the Open Plans. They work with Transalt. The yellow people, the Taxi Workers Alliance. They're for it.
Won't it hurt their
Now
business? It'll drive their prices up.
they don't. They have to be. They technically the members are for it, but it's just like they. It's about who they work with, right? The worker tech. It's a lot of BS you gotta understand. It's a lot of bullshit. But there's
That's why I
one
appreciate
person.
having you on the show because you know about this stuff. I don't.
Yeah,
I really
and
do.
there's
Yeah.
one because they ain't gonna be with them, whatever. But there's one person that's against it. He's gonna speak today at 2 o'clock. His name is Raul Rivera. He runs an organization called New York City Drivers Unite. That's my boy. He's going to speak it against it today. He's one of the big opponents of congestion pricing. He will be out there today at 2 o'clock. Speaking against it.
Okay.
He's going to be out there for 2 o'clock. Now, that's him.
Right.
Um, that's him. So
So okay. So the thing is that the one reason why I was looking into the taxi drivers was because I know that there's a lot of taxi drivers who actually live in Astoria, right?
mhm,
Yeah. So I'm trying to
yeah.
put together all the different pieces of the different communities that I work with, right? Yeah, from public housing to
Mhm,
like maybe like some of the more like other types, right? The Astoria locale, right? Which I have a lot of other business
mhm,
going on there, and trying to assemble some units together so they can work together to really achieve goals. So within the like public housing, they're actually trying to end public housing. Because we know what stuff like that. I'm a advocate in that range. Is there
mhm.
anybody in the congestion pricing thing that could maybe bring right? You think of congestion pricing and public housing, they're not really the same thing, right? But there's a way for maybe that funding to maybe dedicated where the communities can come together and
Yeah.
exercise better political power in
Uh huh.
coalition.
Yeah.
Who, if I were to make that happen, right, within the right, or that also with disability stuff like that, as in terms of the realm of who's working in the realm of the congestion pricing plan, do you see any particular allies that would make sense for me?
What you mean, like in
Okay.
you for it or you against it?
Generally, it could be either way, right? The thing is that there's a way. I'm not really. People think that there's a label and they think that's the end of it. But the fact of the matter is that you could implement it in a way that makes sense and that's good, or you could implement it in a way that's horrible, right? So look, if the congestion pricing, if the money's spent in an intelligent way, and this is like, well-run program, even though overall I'm kind of like, I'm not really crazy about it, to tell you the truth. I'm kind of like, biased against it, just honestly, right? If it was done in an intelligent, productive, transparent way, right, then I would be for it. But, if it continues to be around this corruption and the money's missing and where's the money going to go, then hell no. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, maybe there's people in the congestion pricing program, could be either side, right? If they're really, truly fighting for transparency and responsible spending in the program, then I would consider them an ally. If they are someone who, who's against the program for good reasons, right? I still an ally. You know what I mean? So you could be on either side of the equation, but just someone who's irresponsible, who's trying to feed the machine so they can just, benefit themselves without having a real discussion. Oh, hell no. You got to go. I don't want that.
You're right.
Yeah? So if you know anybody, who's coming up in this field, I do think that congestion pricing is actually a relevant topic for a lot of the infrastructure of how New York City is going to work.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in building coalition because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, actually I'll just tell you about some of the work that I did this week. Just had a meeting with Mark Saffman. We actually introduced a bill with Cordell Clear on the Senate, right, to have a co-navigator program for the deaf-blind, and there's also with Assembly Member Zimmerman. So we're actually proposing both laws in both the Assembly and the State Senate to try to get a co-navigator program for the deaf-blind. So that's cool, and if we can pass a $5 million budget for the program through both, then we're hoping the governor will see a mandate, and even if there's some adjustments to the program, we can still get a line to help dedicated services for the deafblind to get better access to public services. So that's also, I think on Monday I'm supposed to be out in Times Square with Fiocchino to try to help get people to run for county committee, or to help democratize the process. So as you know, we've provided free voter database information to people that want to run for office. So once again, like people like that are interested in peace in Iran, or right, was something that you covered, or the people with congestion pricing, if they really feel passionate about it, right, and I could see myself supporting either side as long as it's done in an intelligent, a responsible way, right, then I want those people to really empower themselves and run for office. So I'm looking for allies on either side that are just reasonable. You get what I mean? Yeah,
you're right.
So if you bump into anybody as you keep going to these events, please, or invite them to the program. Tiffany Caban, I think we had a good discussion today as in terms of pluses and minuses with her. I hope she watches this, or some people do. And if you're in a race, I encourage you to come on this program and have a discussion.
I think she should.
Yeah.
I think she should. I don't hate her. Like I said, I don't hate her at all.
Or any other candidates, right? Yeah. There's a lot of races coming up, and all the candidates, by the way, just as an announcement to anybody who's watching, other activists, if you look up New York City political action committees, all the email lists are available online. I'll see if I can share that on screen. New York City political action committees, and you can find almost everybody who's running for office. Yeah, so that's emails. So I already have added. Here we go. I'm gonna share on the screen right now. You can see that the New York City Campaign Finance Board has listed all the registered political committees. I'll share it on the screen so that my man Leon Johnson can see that as well.
Yeah, no, I'm only sure. I'm on my Facebook. I see all the PACs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So right here you can see on the screen right here. Put it over here. If I go down this thing, I can see all like 32BJ, United American Dream Fund. I can see the chair, and I also have email for all of these groups: ACEC, Adrian for NYC. So I've already emailed every single political action committee and candidate, and if they're not getting back to me, it's because they're inaccessible. It's because they don't want to answer questions, or they don't have time for the little people. That's what it is. Yeah. So 12 Veils. Yeah. Also. So 12 Veils saying, for a county committee, doesn't the district leader have to vote you in? Absolutely not. They do that a lot, actually. They assign dead people into those seats and other things like that. really you can run for the position yourself. And actually, the county committee should be selecting the district leader. Sometimes the district leader does appoint county committee people, but that's not really how it's supposed to work. If you're going to have a relationship with the district leader, how do you get in? Actually, go to Rep My Block, dgl7.repmyblock.org, and then we will actually make the petitions available for you for free. And you can just we'll give you a list of who's voting in your neighborhood, and get those filled out, and then submit those to the Board of Elections. You don't have to file any other paperwork, and you're on the if you're uncontested, you automatically get in without even being on the ballot. That's another way they try to hide the stuff. But if you are actually contested, then you got to have a short election. But if you actually know people in your neighborhood, then you'll win. So just answering 12 Vale's question, she's actually another correspondent as in terms of this news program. Hopefully she'll be visiting soon and contributing to this program. Actually, we should bring her on maybe next week. We'll see. Yeah, I know she's quite involved. You know 12 Vales?
Who?
12 Vales? No?
No, I don't.
She does a lot of work with National Action Network. She does a lot of stuff in Harlem. So.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. So she's watching right now. Any other topics you want to talk about?
Nothing else. I mean, oh yeah, I was talking about Patterson. Oh, that was fucking crazy. Police brutality, alleged police brutality. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, what's going on over there?
What happened was, yeah, it was just like it was a lot of stuff.
One thing that we're working on right now, actually I didn't mention that, is I'm working with Stephen Lee. There's a group called whistleblower.org that actually helps whistleblowers across the board, and also we're trying to do a review and trying to like if you look at this, actually I'll show that on the screen. The Citizens Review Board of New York City, practically every single one is actually appointed by a political person. There's no real, it's not very citizen-y at all. Yeah, Citizen Review Board of New York City. So we're trying to make a list of recommendations, like for citizen oversight boards for police departments, and get that looked at. I'm sharing this on the screen right now. The Citizen Complaint Review Board. This is what's supposed to be keeping the cops, accountable. Now the thing is that also, I think that the cops also are resistant to the idea of civilians running their department, and I have to say that I have some sympathy for that. I'm not saying that it has to be all cops, but I can say that they could have some seats, maybe not even a majority of seats, right? But they also should be participating as well in their own management as well. But I do think that there needs to be more citizens involved, absolutely. So Dust James Nettleton comments, first time watching the program, a lot of insight, probably go back and watch some previous streams as well. Cool, yeah. Christopher Leon Johnson, I'm a big fan. And I'm happy to have him on my show. Yeah, I think the level of insight, this is really for other activists, not for the general public. But hopefully we'll chop it up and make it more accessible for people. But you gotta have a certain level of knowledge to understand all the things that Chris is talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about coming up maybe this week? I know you got some stuff coming up.
Yeah, there's a public safety rally on Wednesday at City Hall. By the way, heads up at City Hall, the steps are under construction. So if people say City Hall steps, they're not telling the truth. City Hall steps are under construction until January of next year. So rallies will be all over around City Hall. I don't know where's the east door. We gotta see the east door. I think people go do more rallies at the east side or if they want the best photo opportunity, they're gonna do inside a park showing City Hall. But if you want the more action, it's gonna be by the east door of City Hall because the elected officials have to enter through City Hall. So it's gonna be a mess.
So wait, what time is that going down on Wednesday again?
1:30 p.m.
Okay.
To 2:30 p.m. at City Hall. So City Hall, around City Hall, probably City Hall Park, but we don't know where it's gonna be at because they're closing on the steps. So I gotta see, so I gotta get there early, see where the exact location, because especially on the stated days, it's gonna be a big mess of a City Hall. The area is gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a lot of lobbying, a lot of rallies. People want there in the budget. People want to be introduced. So you don't expect all that to go down.
Yeah, 12 Vail says that the steps being under construction seems suspicious. The steps didn't seem like in really bad condition.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
more. I think that's more like a little politics shit. So they're just trying to repair the steps. But if you want to repair it, make it better. Add some damn guardrails, man. Add some hand railing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Fucking mess.
Maybe they
But
add some type of like more handicap accessibility. We'll see. Yeah, yeah. It
mm-hmm.
doesn't seem like anything wrong with steps. Yeah, it seems kind of weird. So we're gonna have to see what's up with that.
Yeah.
Just another, page in the book of some weird
Mm-hmm.
stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good. Anything else you want to talk about? I think pretty much the show's over then.
You want me over?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually gonna use the bathroom right quick. So
Yeah, I gotta leave at 12 o'clock, so I gotta get ready.
yeah.
12,
Hey,
so I get there early.
hey man. Yeah. So sorry, I've been holding it just a little bit. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we're gonna end the show
I
right
know.
there. But once
Yeah,
again, this was
cool.
thanks for the update, and feel free to comment. And yeah, we're looking for guests to be on the show to bring more of New York City, what's actually going on versus, we're gonna bring you the news from the actual streets versus what some corporate boss told us is the narrative of the week. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot. Yeah, I really appreciate you, Chris. Yeah, and I look forward to seeing all the other stuff you got coming up. You're a prolific
All right. All right.
producer. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Take care, brother.
Peace, brother.
Peace out.
All right, so I'm gonna hit stop the thing. Okay, I'm gonna hit stop.